Capsuleers, it's Oswald or Adredian again, and I want to welcome you back to the download. For those of you tuning in for the first time, the download is a little thing I'm putting together with the aim of turning new players into great pilots. This first series is all around ISK and how to make ISK effectively. So I think it's only fitting that I start out this whole thing with mining. Mining is sort of I personally feel it's the first thing a lot of players do for the first time to make ISK. And so, it's kind of I want to say stepping stone for a lot of players, okay? Um, I want to point out something about mining is that it's a very needed activity in New Eden, and, it's very steady, steady income. So, with that being said, it is very um, monotonous, I guess. What you're seeing here is basically what you get. And you might not even be orbiting the asteroid. I'm orbiting the asteroid right now. So, um, it's very monotonous, but it's very, very important. The asteroid in mining is the cornerstone of EVE Online, the lowly asteroid. It's the cornerstone. Because from the asteroid you get minerals. And with minerals you can build ships and modules and everything else like that. 99% of ships and modules in EVE are made by players. So, as you can see, that's why mining is so needed. It's, that fact that most of everything in EVE is made by players, it's very unique, I think, in MMOs. And there really is nothing else like it at the moment. So, it's, just another one of those things about EVE that really sets it apart. Let's go ahead and jump in. Let's say you're interested in mining, that's your thing, and you really want to know more about it. Okay? Well, there's a couple things to look into training and a couple techniques to maybe help you out that, hopefully that we can show you here today. The ship I'm in right now is the Venture. It's a mining frigate. It's pretty much the first dedicated mining ship that people will fly for mining. That's what I'm in right now. Just for purposes of this video, I just jumped in this thing. I had an extra one. It's okay. It's not bad. It's a dedicated mining ship, but there's better. Okay. This is definitely not the end goal for mining. You really can't make that much in this ship. I'm gonna be honest with you. You really can't. It's it can mine. I mean, it can mine. It can put gas harvesters on it. Well, that'll be a later video. But it doesn't really do anything too well. I mean, if you look at it, it's only really mining about 200 M3 per minute. Okay. It has a nice little ore hold here, and it can hold up to 5,000 M3. So, you're really not. I guess it's okay if you need to get some quick minerals or something like that. You need some really quick ISK. That's just a small bit. But this is not your end goal. Your end goal. Let's go ahead and open up ISIS here. Your end goal is going to be these guys, the mining barges and the exhumers. Now these guys just chew through ore, okay? And the reason for that is they can fit a certain module called a strip miner. What I have on my Venture right now is called a mining laser, okay? But the strip miner can mine, now just, if this thing can do 190, about 200 M3 per 60 seconds, the strip miner can do 2,500 M3 per 60 seconds. It's like a stupidly high number. So, you could just sit in this belt and just chew away at the asteroids with those ships. That's definitely something to look into training. If you're going to be real about mining, this is what you need to get, okay? And then the step up from these guys is the exhumer, okay? And this is the Hulk, the Skiff, and the Mackinac. The Tech 1 versions are the Coveter, the Retriever, and the Procurer. Okay? So each one of these has a certain role. I guess you can say, a certain unique thing about it. The procurer and the skiff, here it is, um, they get a huge bonus to their HP. We'll just call it. It's their shields, so they just get a massive bonus to their shields, so you can stay alive longer. All right. Um, the retriever and the Mackinaw have a really big ore hold, so they don't have to warp back to station or do anything weird. They can just sit in the belt and just fucking mine away. And then the Hulk and the Coveter here, they can just mine massive amounts. Okay, but they don't have as large of a ore hold, so you'll kind of need backup. You know, somebody to haul the ore to the station for you. So each one has a little unique thing about it. Right now I'm in 0-0, so if I was going to step into one of those, I would probably fly the Procurer, unless my space was really safe, and then I would probably fly the Retriever, because I just think that's, you know, the ore hole is, ore hold, I think that's a very useful utility, a very useful thing about it. Something I want to point out about mining is the lower in security status you go in space, the more profitable it becomes. Okay, so if you stay in high sec and mine all day, you will not make nearly as much as if you were in 0-0 and mined all day. Okay, because you're allowed, I think in high sec, you know, if you stay in like a 1.0 system, you get, I think, Veldspar and Scordite. Okay, and that's it. In 0-0, I get access to all of the minerals, okay? But I also get access to like special sites. If you go to your scanner, you go to your probe scanner, they'll pop up down here, okay? And it would be called like a large Bistot deposit or Arkonor deposit or whatever, and those are worth quite a bit if you mine them out, and you know they're very frequent in 0-0. So, and another thing too, when you get into these 0-0, you won't see an asteroid belt like this in high sec. You know, an asteroid belt this full. Usually, you go to high sec, they're, you know, tiny little asteroids because people just sit there and mine all day and mine them out. So, if you have the chance to get to 0-0 and join Alliance, do that. You know, and mine, because really, that's where the bucks are at when it comes to mining. That being said, you can make a living in high sec mining. You know, mining minerals. That's what it is. So, it's just, you know, that's not for me. It's very monotonous when you're in high sec, I suppose. But I mean, there are other benefits when you're in high sec. You have direct access to the markets and everything else. You can just take it right to Jita or Amar or Dodixie or wherever. In 0-0, you have to have it, you know, hauled out of 0-0, or you sell it to your Alliance. Okay, we got some. Now this is something you don't get in high sec, or the big asteroid, or the big battleship pirates here. The term for these is for the NPC pirates. They're called. Everybody calls them rats. So if you didn't know, now you know. This ship's not really a fighter. That's the thing about these ventures and these procurers, or excuse me, in the mining barges and exhumers. They're not really fighters. So even if somebody was to come along and you know attack me, even though I do have like a massive tank, massive shield on the procurer, if they want to kill me, they're gonna kill me. You know, so when you're in 0-0, it's best practice. If somebody comes in the system, you dock up. If you have a station, or if you're in a POS, like a starbase, you would go warp to the starbase or something like that. So as soon as they come in, because the barges and the exhumers, they take a really long time to align and get into warp. So don't wait for them to come in the belt and then start to leave, because if you do that, you're gonna get blown up. You know, that's just the truth. So normally I would jump on my combat character or get in my combat ship and just clear these guys out. But you know, I'm just, like I said, for purposes of this video, I'm just gonna sit here and mine. See, look at these asteroids. You don't really see anything like this massive in high sec. So we're just cruising around right now. We're looking for this stuff here for no reason in particular. Just mining away. So it's very relaxing. It's a very relaxing activity. Something I want to point out is that there's no like certain mineral that is like the most expensive. You know, this is the most profitable one. You know, there's nothing like that because the values constantly change. Okay, I blew right past that thing. The values constantly change, like given like what ships are, you know, being built and everything else. It's EVE Online. The economy is just like real life, you know. Some things are worth a lot one day, they're not so much the next day. So Veldspar might be 3 ISK per unit one day, it might be 15 ISK per unit one day. It just depends. With that being said, certain minerals are always going to be worth more. Okay? So, like Megasite is always going to be one that's going to be worth a lot. And in 0.0, you're given access to certain, you're given access to more ores that have Megasite, that have more Megasite in them. Okay? So there's not like one type of ore that's the most profitable at the time, right? It always changes. So, let's mine this one. Like this radiant hermorphite right here. Let's look at that. It says has a large portion of noxium. It also has a bit of tritanium, isogen, and zydrine. Okay, like Veldspar is only going to have tritanium in it. Scordite's going to have titanium and pyrite. Okay, and then see it says available primarily in 0.2 security status systems or lower. If you go to industry, when you reprocess a acceptable stack of this is what you get. You get titanium, isogen, noxium, zydrine. Okay. Let's see here. Fucking whatever. We'll just mine this one. Okay. Stop moving. I just get frustrated trying to do this shit because my ship. I just run into these fucking rocks all day and shit. It's pissing me off. Anyways. You know, you guys might have noticed that I've been leaving out low sec. Well, the thing is about low sec is that it's for the risk that you're putting in, you're getting out very little reward. Okay? Because you can't sit here and mine. It's safer to mine in 0.0. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. In 0.0, you're protected by your alliance, by your big alliance, and you know you're mining in safe systems and everything else like that. In low sec, you have faction warfare guys coming in. You have pirates roaming around. You have fucking all this shit happening, and you have dudes from high sec that just want to poke their heads in the low sec. So every time somebody comes in a system, you have to dock up. Okay, you have to leave your belt. Well, that time adds up, you know what I mean? And it's just not profitable to mine in low sec. Yeah, it's broken like that, whatever. That's just the way it is. So, you know, don't even bother trying to because you're just going to fucking get all frustrated and fucking, you know, fuck mining. No, it's just fuck mining in low sec. It sucks, okay? You know, there's no other easier way to say it. Like low sec sucks like that for mining. So maybe if it was changed to make it or like way more profitable, then maybe it would be, you know. But even still, I just don't ever see just the way low sec is designed. I don't ever see it being something that's like that amazing. You know, that's just the way it is. So. You know, something I want to kind of point out to about mining, you know, a lot of people will put down mining. Oh, fuck mining, it's fucking boring and blah, blah, blah. You know, just tell those people to suck wind, to be honest with you. Mining is a very crucial fucking aspect of EVE Online. And, you know, without mining, those people saying fuck mining and doing all that, They want to have fucking ships. They want to have modules, you know what I mean? They want to have the shit they have. So, it's your fucking game. You're paying the money for it. You play it how you want, okay? The only thing I will say, however, that I'm totally fucking against is the dudes with fucking 10 people. They have 10 accounts, and all they, you know, and they're just AFK mining. And they're just roaming around the asteroid belts or, ice belts or whatever, and just AFK mining with 10 fucking accounts. And what AFK mining is like it sounds. Basically, I'm going to sit here and lock up my asteroids, whatever, and then I'm just going to walk away and watch Netflix or whatever, you know. That's it. The thing with strip miners is that they have like a really long cycle time, so you can do that. I think that's real cheap, and that diminishes the fucking game and the activity. And people complain, oh, I got my ship blown up. Make it easier, or make my ship harder to fucking blow up, and this that. And CCP did. They gave them the procurer and the skiff, or they changed the procurer and the skiff, because before there was no reason to fly one. And CCP said, okay, well, now this one is super resistant, but it doesn't mine as much. People still fucking complain. Well, I'm sorry. There's no other activity in game where I can just sit around AFK and make ISK. Not like that. Not like as much as they were doing and bringing in. So, if you're gonna do it, just stay at your keyboard. I would be normally chatting with Alliance or whatever, saying what's up in Corp. Alliance, just shooting the shit on fucking like TeamSpeak or Mumble. That's what I would be doing, okay? Not being away from my keyboard. So that's just if you're away from your keyboard, that's a fucking bad habit to have, especially if you're in high or low sec. I'm sorry, low sec or 0-0. In high sec, people will get away from the keyboard. Oh, I'm safe in high sec. The thing is with high sec guys, players will still blow you up. They'll gank you, and what a gank is like they'll attack you with overwhelming force to where you don't have to get a chance to defend yourself or retaliate. So they'll come up and they'll blow you up just for funsies, take all the loot from your ship and then warp off. Or not warp off, but they'll have somebody else scoop it up and then they'll warp off. They will get blown up from Concord, which is the space police, but the thing is, Concord's there only to punish, not protect. So if they can blow you up in the time that in the time it takes before Concord to get there, you're still gonna die, and then they can have somebody else come up in in another ship, scoop all the loot, and then warp off. It happens all the time. So, that's what people do. They'll take 20 guys or whatever, fly them into a fleet of these ships that are AFK mining, and just blow them all up, and make fucking 200 mil, 300 mil, whatever. So, maybe even more if they're expensive ships. That's just something to, remain vigilant of, because you're not safe. You're safer, I should say you're safer in high sec, but you're not 100% safe. If somebody wants wants your ship blown up, they're gonna blow it up. So, that's just EVE Online. EVE Online, baby. That's just something that makes this game unique. So, that was kind of the brief kind of gist about EVE Online mining, and the whole activity of how to do it. And now that we have it, let's go ahead and what we'll do is we'll pull our ore out, put it in our item hanger here. I apologize for the lag. It's only 30. Normally it's hovering at 60. Oh, see, now it's jumping. I don't know why it's jumping around. But anyway, so I pulled it out of my ore hold here. It's in my item hanger, and now we're gonna reprocess it. Let's just fucking select all this shit here, reprocess, and then this is what I get out of it. Okay, right now I only have a 50% efficiency. There are certain skills that I will link, or I'll put them in the chat box or the fucking little comment box, whatever the fuck it's called, that will increase this. And why this is important is because, so all the minerals I mined here, the 2000 golden amber and the 1100 fucking this one, whatever. So look at this, okay? So from this titanium here, so from out of the golden amber I got a total of 2,162 titanium, okay? 34 is taken from the station tax. I don't know if there's a way to fucking lower that, but you know, it's only 34 or whatever. But look at that. 1,300 or 1,038 is not recoverable. It's fucking gone. Whew. It's fucking gone. Okay? So really, out of that 2,000, I get less than half. Out of 2,162, I get less than half. Okay? Do I get less than half? Wait, no. I get a little over half. Okay? Yeah, that's right. So just a little bit over half. You know, that's kind of bullshit. But there's skills you can train to fucking actually make that, you know, to lower, or so you can actually get more. Like I said, I'll put them all in the description box, but we'll just go over them briefly here. In the skill section here, you're going to want to go to the resource processing. Okay. Now there's a couple skills here that you're going to need if you want to mine. Okay. You want to be fucking like the real deal when it comes to mining. Obviously, you're going to need the mining skill. Okay. The mining skill allows you more, it gives you more yield per level, okay? You're going to want the astrology skill here, or astrogeology, and that's 5% bonus, again, per level. Also, mining upgrades. Mining upgrades allows you to use the little fucking mining upgrades. That's exactly, it's an upgrade module that you can put on your ship that allows you to mine more. Also, you're going to want reprocessing. Just fucking go down here for easy use. Reprocessing. A 3% bonus to ore and ice. Reprocessing yield. Reprocessing efficiency. Okay. Now, what you're also going to want to train is these specific ones. Okay. You have one for each type of ore. So if you're going to stay in high sec, then you're going to want, you know, Bistot Processing, of course. And what that is basically you get a 2% bonus per level for just reprocessing Feldspar. Okay, there's one for each one. So, like, optimally, if you're going to be a miner, you're going to want fucking each one of those skills up to level 5. Okay? This one here, this deep core harvesting, this one's unique. Okay, let's pull it up here. You operate mining lasers required for deep core mining. Basically, it's for Mercoxit. It's a certain type of fucking mineral and a certain type of asteroid, and that's how you fucking get it. So, yeah, you know, that's just about it for the deep core mining laser, and that allows you to get fucking Mercoxit, like I said. So if that's a thing you want to fucking get, you know, you want to train into, you can. I've never had the need for it, but I'm sure somebody will. Also, what you're going to want to train is, you know, you're going to want your mining barge skill, of course. Mining barge, mining frigate. I think the skill book's given to you at the beginning of the game through like those agent tutorials. So yeah, definitely you want to train that up. Mining barge though, you want to get into a mining barge as soon as possible. And it's really not that hard to train, to be honest with you. All you got to do is train, what? You got to train Spaceship Commando level 1, which I think you already have. Mining level 4, which you should do if you're going to be a fucking miner. And then Science level 4. So, that is very important to train, mining barge. And if you're going to do it, you might as well just train that one to 5. And then train exhumers if you want to train it, you know, get into exhumers. Something I want to point out too, let's open back up ISIS. Say you have a big enough corporation that warrants these. You have an orca here, and what an orca is basically It allows you to. It's a ship that has the like awesome range on tractor beams, and it has a huge cargo hold, and it can use mining foreman links, or it gets a bonus to mining foreman links. And what the mining foreman links are, basically, it'll make your mining lasers or strip miners. It'll make them go faster and harvest more, or go farther away, or so you can target from farther away, or excuse me, harvest from farther away, so you don't have to move around. Makes you more efficient, basically. And this thing has tractor beams, so it can you can just basically jettison all your ore into space into a little cargo can, and then the Orca can sit there and tractor beam everything in, put it into its big hold, and then warp to station, dump it all off or whatever, and come back. So you never have to leave the asteroid belt. So you can sit there and continue mining. So if you have a big mining fleet, that's actually that's pretty cool to do, and everybody splits the ISK or whatever, however you want to do it. That's a very unique thing. So I mean, I've even seen dudes really use this thing for, they just have two accounts, the one guy flying the Orca, the other guy flying the Hulk, and they just sit there. That's whatever, that you could do that too. But for big like mining kind of corporations and stuff, that's kind of a cool thing to have. And also there's this, the Rorqual. This is like kind of like the Mac Daddy of like mining ships. Okay, so you can use the mining links, foreman links as well. Okay, but what makes this unique is that it can jump between systems. It can jump between low sec and 0-0 systems. Okay, so it doesn't have to take the gates. Why that's beneficial is because you're very vulnerable in the gates. So this thing can jump across. Instead of just jumping from A to B to C to D, this thing can jump A to F. For example. But it also allows the use of this industrial core thing, and what that does is it compresses the ore, okay, and basically it compressed ore. So right here, this 84 or 94 units of Bistot here, it takes up 1,504 meters cubed, okay. Well, a compressed amount of Bistot, I could have, I don't know what the actual ratios and percentages is, but a compressed 94 units would only be 5 M3 or whatever. Like I said, I don't know the actual units, but I know it's significant. So that allows you, basically, the guys out here in 0-0, we can sit there and mine and then compress all our ore and then just jump a shitload up to high sec. Okay, so that's just kind of a unique thing. That's if you're serious with mining in 0-0, eventually you'll come across one of these. So they're pretty neat little ships. A couple things too. The material that you mine from the asteroid, that's called ore. Okay, obviously. When you reprocess it, that's when it turns into minerals. That's these guys here. This isogen, megasite, mexilon, yada yada yada. So, let's see, if you look at this, I have, what is that? How much do I have here? 241,000 units of titanium. It's really not that much, I have only 14,000 units of megasite here, and this is actually worth more than all this. Or not 14,000, 1,400. Okay, and I can I can get a lot of this in 0-0, a lot of it. Okay, so that's kind of how it's more profitable in 0-0. Just something to think about, guys. So all in all, I mean, that's kind of the rough, mining in a nutshell. You'll find techniques and different things that will be unique to you, different systems that work for you. You'll find great, corporations and everything else. I honestly, if the thing is with mining, if you have a corporation that is really fun to be with and hang out with. It makes mining just fucking awesome when you got like 20 of your buddies in the asteroid belt or whatever in the mining anomaly. Um, you guys are all mining. You're fucking talking on voice comms, drinking beers, whatever, sharing stories. That's pretty fun. And some of my best memories in Eve are from doing things like that. So if you find a good corporation that does that kind of stuff, fucking go for it. You know what I mean? You stay with those guys. So that's an amazing type of I don't want to say they're few and far in between, but when you get a corporation that you really mesh with, and everybody's really cool, fucking check them, stay with them, and like I said, you'll make friends for years. I have friends I met in 2009 when I started that I've met in Eve that I'm still friends with. I'm friends with them in real life now, and that's just another thing about Eve. So, mining in a nutshell. I think next episode we'll talk about what you actually do with the minerals, and that's manufacturing. So that one won't be nearly as long. Quick plug. Oh, server shut down. Look at that. That's how late it is here. It's fucking 3 o'clock or some shit. Quick plug. Corporation. Giant Robot Factory. GERFA. We are recruiting new players, old players. You like to do mining. You like to do PvP. Come check us out. We fucking support all types of activities, and that's completely fine. If you have any questions, either leave a comment or message me in game. Oswald or Adridian. Here I am here. I will do my best to answer any questions you have. So, like I said before, check us out. GERFA, Giant Robot Factory. We're recruiting. Alright, guys. I like to end every episode with a little saying somebody once told me. Fly safe, fly smart, and most importantly, have fun. Because if you're not having fun, what's the point? Have a good one, guys.